Hello, Serge here from the back porch. I recently had a lesson with one of my longtime students here in the Spartanburg area. Been with me probably close to 15 years, and is a relatively good player. Averages staying around a 6-7 handicap, and he, like most of you, is very concerned about the length that he hits his driver. And in fact, most times when we start a lesson, he actually loosens up hitting drivers, which really I don't think is too bad a way to start, because he just tees them up and starts with a few really smooth, easy swings, and then gradually works his way up, because a longer club will I guess give you a better stretch on your back muscles. I've had a couple other students who do that, but the key to this lesson is that after he got done warming up and then finally really went out one good hit, he really hit a really good shot. I mean, he just rifled one out there, and that was about the end of it. After that, there were power blocks to the right, and then pull hooks, and he said that the thing that's been killing him lately more than anything is just hitting pulls and pull hooks. And that's basically been his issues over the years. And first and foremost, it's always started by he has a tremendous tendency to aim to the right. And we've been working for years and years and years on that, and there is some improvement, but if he's going to falter, it's aiming back out to the right, and sometimes he can get pretty bad, 30-40 yards right. So if you're trying to hit the ball to the target aiming 30 yards to the right, there's only one way it's going to get there. It has to be either pulled hooked, or just pure hooked. And so as we know, alignment, don't play golf without it. So we bring that back. But the point is even many times when he's still lined up well, he still has a tendency to hit the pulls and then the block. What we saw first off really quick was that he was making too much of a turn. Instead of just turning to the toe line where he was right here, he was turning where you could see the arm was about 45 degrees. His upper left arm, which was his forward arm for him, being a right-handed golfer, instead of being over the toe line where it would be directly, you could see it level or even to the face of the lens of the camera, it was about 45 degrees. Now, many of the tour players and really supple people can get as much as turn it all the way where they're going to get almost 90 degrees. Tiger Woods is like that, and quite a few of the tour guys. I got to stretch out. That just tightened me up over here. And so he was definitely turning way too much. So we worked on that. But even when we got him back to correctly over the toe line, he still was hitting these power pull hooks in the block. And so finally I looked at him, I said, let me see the driver. And I took the driver off of him, and the first thing I said to myself was, whoa, how long is this thing? And he has about a 2-year-old version of one of the major brands that's in the driver supremacy wars on the PGA Tour, so that they can tell everybody we're the #1 driver on the tour or whatever. And I looked at it, I said, how long is this? So I reached over and I grabbed my 3-wood. Excuse me, my driver that I had in the bag, and it was tremendously long, and I'm going to go to that in a second. But the reason why I grabbed it is I said, let me hit this thing. I want to just test it to see if the shaft might not be too weak, meaning if the shaft was way too soft for him, and he's probably fairly close to the swing speeds that I swing, that I could tell if the shaft wasn't kicking at the right, kicking properly at impact. And naturally, if you overkick it one time where it comes through and the shaft is kicked this way, it's going to, you can pull hook it, and then you hold on a little too long, and you hold it back, and then you can block it. So I hit 2 shots with it, and I hit them both dead straight despite the length. So then I took it and I put it up against the driver I had in my bag at the time, which was my 42.5-inch driver. And when I put them side by side like this, you can see there's quite a discrepancy. This driver here is one of DJ's when he played the tour. And just to give you an idea what we're talking about, here's a regulation ruler tailored to measure golf clubs. And the way we measure them is we put it underneath the bottom of the club right here up against the ground. You lay the club on it. I guess I better get the numbers at the top. And this one measures out. This one measures out at about 45.5 inches. Excuse me, 44.5 inches. And this is one of DJ's from back when he first got out on tour. He's been varying between 44.5 and 45. I'd prefer for him to really get back to 44, which is what he played in college. But 45 inches. So now we're going to look at my little driver here. I have 2 identical drivers here. As you can see, if I put them side by side, like this one here on the right is about a ½ inch shorter than the one on the left. The one on the right here is 42 inches, and this one here is 42.5 inches, and look what you see here. Here's my 3-wood. My 3-wood to this one here is almost exactly the same, because this one was made to match the length of my 3-wood, 42 inches. And I was testing to see that I felt that when I hit my 3-wood, my hands could really straighten out. Both arms could straighten out at impact when I have the ball teed up. But I wasn't able to do it with the 43.5-inch driver I've been playing with for a while now. And so I hit it really good. I hit it really straight. But I just decided, well, let's try the 43. And I really feel that the 43 actually does me a little bit better. And so I tested it out. I had Lynn Griffin to build these, and many of you, if you have the ability to do this, you could do it. If you have a few older drivers, you could just stop by have the fitter cut them down and find your optimal length that works for you. Now on a tour, that's no sweat. They just keep going back to the trailer and just say, hey, build me one this length, build me one that length, or whatever. But you're finding your law of diminishing returns. In that law of diminishing returns, more is not necessarily better, less is not necessarily better. Everybody has a medium. All right, but I do know one thing. I'll bet you, without a doubt, I can tell you that shorter is better for the vast majority of all amateurs, especially with the big bazooka heads. Now this is about a 6-year-old head, and this is probably only about 400 cc's. And look at the difference in the size of these heads when you look at the heads and you look at the sizes. I mean, this is a 360. This is at least a 400 or 420, and now you got 460s, which is appreciably bigger than this one. And so what we did was, I had him to start choking down. I had this student start choking down on his clubs. And I said, all right, start off by choking down at least 1 inch. And he choked down on the club about 1 inch. And I had him hit those. Then I had him say, all right, let's go another 1/2 inch. And we choked down on it. And then I got him all the way to the point where his thumb was almost at the very end of the bottom of the club, and he started hitting the ball really, really good. And it was hitting consistent. Now he said it might not go quite as far, but every time he kept choking it up, he kept hitting the ball better and better. And even if you were losing a little difference, a little distance, what's that compared to hitting the ball consistently solid and straight, right at his target, in the fairway. Fairways and greens, that's what we always talk about. And then I have another, lately I've been bringing one of my other older, shorter drivers with me to the golf course, so that in case somebody wants to try it, I don't like to let anybody just hit my, as DJ calls it, my gamers that are in the bag. I gave him that driver. He took it up and just holding it right on the end. Oh yeah, and here's the other kicker. He also, despite how long it was, he had the end of the club inside the heel of his hand. The proper position is supposed to have the butt of the club up against the end of the heel of your hand. Not only was he swinging a 45-inch driver, a 46-inch driver, excuse me, it was 46 inches, he was also adding another 1/2 inch to it by having holding the hand off the end of the club. He grabbed my shorter driver, teed it up, and just ripped it on the first swing, ripped it on the second, and ripped it on the third, right in a row. So I just said, how much more proof do you need? That club is way too long. That's your problem. Then he starts talking about he hits his 3-wood really good, but he doesn't hit his 5-wood really good. Well, his 3-wood was another major brand club, but it was about 6 years old. When we put his 3-wood up against his 5-wood, his 3-wood was an inch shorter than his 5-wood, because his 5-wood matched his driver, the same brand, and it was the same year. He bought them he bought them both at the same time. So where's the answer there? The 5-wood was too long. I had him choke the 5-wood up to at least the 3-wood, and then a half inch under that, and every time he choked it up, he hit it better. So the moral of this story, folks, is, I guess, you want to hit your drivers long, but the most important thing is consistency. Hit it long as you can consistently hit it solid, and most importantly, straight to go with the solid, because golf is a lot more easily played from the fairways and greens. So you could do that test, check, keep choking up and see where you hit it better. And then you got two choices. Either make sure you know where that point is and choke up to that point if you have no problem playing with a driver longer than you need to, and you have it choked up and you got all that extra shaft sticking out there. But in most cases, I tell folks, go get it cut off, because if it's there, you're probably going to start cheating and working your way back up. And if you do that, you know what's going to happen. You're not going to hit it so good. So let's pay attention. It's not only the drivers that for many of us is too long, it's even the fairway woods. And that's why most of the people I see and I talk to come for lessons or at golf school say, well, I can hit everything up to my hybrids good. Why can they hit everything up to the hybrids good? Because they're shorter. Hybrids are shorter. They're made to be more like irons, and they have trouble with their fairway woods, whether it be a 5-wood, 4-wood, 3-wood, or driver, if they're all built to be in specs with the driver, they're too long for most of you. So talking about length again, but as you know, I'm going to stay on the subjects to help you play better golf, and it's easier to play better golf and shoot lower scores when you can drive it in the fairway. Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.